Hey everyone, so today we're going to be making Iron Man. As you can see here, a very cute little plushie that I hope you guys enjoy. You can make it into a keychain or whatever you desire. So let us get straight into it. So for the materials, you're going to need 4-ply cotton yarn in the colors black, yellow, red, and white. And for this 4-ply cotton yarn, you will also need a 1.9 millimeter hook, as you can see that I have here. But if you have your own yarn and hook that you're used to, feel free to use that because this pattern should be absolutely universal as well. You'll also need a pair of cutters and a leather or a sewing needle. This is what I would recommend here. You can probably get away with a tapestry needle as well, but I would suggest using something with a sharp point at the end. And then you will also need some fiber filling, of course, to fill up your body. And I believe that's it. You don't need pins, you don't need eyes, so we should be good. All right, let us get straight into it. So let us begin by grabbing some red colored yarn, and then we're just going to make a magic ring. So just a normal magic ring. Now, if you don't know how to make a magic ring or you're very new to crochet, I have a beginner crochet tutorial playlist that you can go check out, linked it right here. And come back and you'll be able to complete any one of my tutorials. Okay, so now for this magic ring, we're going to work 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. Now, I just want to tell you the type of single crochet stitch I work with. So I have the yarn coming underneath the hook, and we say yarn under, or YU, and then the yarn will come over the hook here, and we call that yarn over or YO. So altogether that would be YU, YO, which means yarn under, yarn over. So that's the technique that I use there. Feel free also to use the yarn under technique, but I wouldn't recommend the yarn over technique, just if you want your stitches to be a little bit straighter and a little bit more condensed together. So that's that, and I've linked a little video here so you can see the differences between all of those. All right, let's get back into it. So that's our 3rd single crochet stitch. Here's number 4, number 5, and finally number 6, just like that. And from here we are going to pull this yarn tail from our magic ring and then close that magic ring just like that. Now you can either continue to crochet in a spiral, or you can continue to crochet like how I will, since this is a beginner tutorial, with a slip stitch and a chain 1 at the completion of each round. So here we go with the slip stitch, and chain 1. Now, if you are crocheting in a spiral, that is fantastic. I would recommend that. That way you wouldn't get this seam line that you can see here, although it's not entirely visible, so it's okay. But I may recommend that you adjust these stitches according to your yarn tension. And something that I'll help you with as well to keep these stitches as straight as possible is the following. So here we are now with round number 2, and we're going to do the following. Stick your hook in that very first stitch space, have the yarn tail go over the top of that hook just to keep it woven in and more secure. And then we're going to complete something called an increase. So an increase just means 2 single crochet stitches inside the same stitch space. So I'm heading back into that same stitch space and working my 2nd single crochet stitch, and right there, that's what we call an increase, 2 single crochet stitches. And now we're just going to complete that. So increases in every stitch space, 1 and 2. Here's another one, 1 and 2, just like that. And we'll just keep going until we finish round number 2, after which you should have a total of 12 stitches in the round. So here is our 5th increase, and then here is our final and 6th increase, meaning we now have 12 stitches in the round. Continue either in a spiral or, like me, a slip stitch and a chain 1. Round 2 is now complete. Round 3 is fairly simple as well. You're going to begin with a single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. And we're just going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So you'll start off with a single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, 1 and 2, just like that. And I want you to continue that all the way around. You'll have 18 stitches at the end of round number 3. Alright, finish round 3. Now for round number 4, we're going to incorporate some color changes here. So we're going to do this together, and I'll help you along the way. And we're also working another technique as well, which I will show you as we get to it. So start off with 4 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, and here's the 4th. But on the 4th, I want you to complete this single crochet stitch with the yellow colored yarn. So grab some yellow colored yarn, leave a little bit of a tail, and we're going to weave that in and pull through those 2 loops on the hook to complete the 4th stitch. From here, we will work 1 single crochet stitch, and we will have those 2 yarn tails come over the top of the hook as we work that single crochet stitch. And we're going to change our yarn color at the end of this to complete this 5th stitch with red, just like that. So 4 in red, 1 in yellow, and here now is where we're going to complete something called a spike bubble stitch. So we're not going to work right here. Instead, you're going to come further below right here. Just like that. But before we do that, you're going to wrap the yarn as well. Then come into this space, enter, have the yarn tails over the hook, pull up the yarn. You'll have 3 loops on the hook at this very point, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and you'll be left with 2 loops on the hook. And now I just want you to repeat that. So wrap the yarn, come into this space, there we go, pull up the yarn and pull through 2. 3 loops now are on the hook. Let's do it again. Wrap the yarn. This is to complete the bubble stitch, and then because we're coming here, it's the spike bubble stitch. So come up, pull through 2. Now at the point where you have 4 loops left on the hook, you are going to change your yarn color back to yellow. So grab your yellow colored yarn right here, pull through, and then in the next stitch space, you're going to work just a single crochet stitch, and I want you to have the yellow and red yarn colors over the top of the hook as you do that. And then you're going to change your yarn color to complete this stitch as well in red, just like that. Okay, let's work another 3 single crochet stitches in red. 1, 2, and here's the 3rd. This is where we're going to change our yarn color back to yellow, just like that, and complete a yellow stitch, single crochet stitch with the red yarn on top of the hook. To weave that in, change your yarn color back to red to complete that yellow stitch right there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in between our spike bubble stitch right here. And now we're going to create another spike bubble stitch. So we're not coming here, we're coming here 1 round below, and we're wrapping the yarn as we do that. Have the yellow yarn tail over the hook as you complete this spike bubble stitch. So pull through 2, wrap the yarn, pull up and pull through 2. One more time, wrap the yarn, same space, pull up the yarn and pull through 2. At this point, we know it, we're changing back to our yellow colored yarn. Pull that through all 4 loops on the hook. And in the next stitch space, we're making a yellow single crochet stitch, have the red yarn tail on top of the hook. And then to complete this stitch, we're changing back to our red colored yarn, just like that. And then for the remaining 5 single crochet stitches, for the first one, you'll have the yellow yarn tail over the hook. And then for the rest of them, you'll just complete them in red. So this is number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. And then either continue in a spiral or slip stitch and chain 1. And I'll just pop these the right way around, so kind of push them out, and there we go, there's the legs. For round number 5 now, we are changing yarn colors between red and yellow as well, but there's no spike bubble stitch, so we can relax with that part. Also, another thing that I'm going to show you here, and I may as well show you here, I didn't want to bombard you at the beginning, but to keep these stitches straight, as you pull your yarn through these 2 loops on the hook, keep your hook as vertical as possible. See how I fully shifted it up? That's what I want you to do. And now I want you to complete 4 single crochet stitches. So this is my 3rd, and here's my 4th, and on this 4th one we're changing our yarn color to yellow, and since the yellow is coming all the way from the other side, we'll leave a bit of slack and weave in any slack as well. So there we go, change the yarn color. We're coming in here now, we'll grab our red and yellow, since we left some yellow slack, and just at least weave in these yarn tails for the first single crochet stitch in yellow. So there's 1. Let's make 3 of these. So here's the 2nd, just like that, and here's the 3rd. Change the yarn color back to red on the 3rd. Remember that technique, keep your hook as vertical as possible, and complete another 3 single crochet stitches in red. Here's the 2nd, Here's the third, and then you're going to change back to your yellow colored yarn and complete another 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, and 3, followed by changing the yarn color back to red and completing the remaining stitches with weaving the first stitch with that yellow colored yarn, and then complete the remaining stitches in red to finish off round number 5. Super easy, just a few color changes there that you may need to work on, but just watch that video, rewind it, and do the best that you can. Slip stitch, chain 1, or continue in a spiral. For the next 2 rounds now, so this is rounds numbers 6 and 7, we'll do the following. We'll start off with 7 red single crochet stitches. So here's number 2, 3, and just remember I'm keeping my hook straight. 4, 5, 6, here's the 7th, and on the 7th we're going to change our yarn color to yellow. Change that yarn color there, give it a little pull so you're keeping all the stitches nice and tight. Have the red yarn tail over the top of the hook for the first single crochet stitch in yellow at least. 1, and we'll repeat another 2 times. 2, and here's the 3rd and final single crochet stitch in yellow, changing our yarn color back to red, and then completing the final 8 single crochet stitches in red. And you want to repeat exactly what we just did for the next round as well. So I'll see you back at the end of the next round. So we're looking like this so far, and you're gonna love the next 2 rounds, because the next 2 rounds, this is rounds 8 and 9, you're just working with the red colored yarn and you're just making 18 single crochet stitches all the way around for the next 2 rounds. So you're gonna love that, I hope, and I'll see you at the end of round number 9. Keep those stitches straight, by the way. Keep that hook as vertical as possible as you're pulling through those 2 loops on the hook, just like that. Alright, so our last 2 rounds were quite easy, and I guess we're going to have to make this a very difficult round. It's not too difficult, just there's a lot of yarn color changes. So we're going to start off with 3 single crochet stitches in red. We may as well get this started straight away. Okay, so there's 1, 2, and here's the 3rd. We change yarn color to yellow, and it is coming from the other side, so I'm going to leave a little bit of yarn slack and weave that in a bit later. Make a single crochet stitch in yellow for this very 4th one. Have the yellow and the red yarn tails over the top of the hook. Make sure there's no tightness, because you want the body to be able to have the stuffing in it with no alteration of these stitches. Alright, single crochet stitch in yellow, but we complete it with red colored yarn. And from here, we're making our spike bubble stitch again. So we wrap the yarn, we don't come here, but we come further down, right there. And there we go. So we're going to pull up the yarn. And actually, before we do that, have yellow colored yarn over the top of the hook. Pull up the yarn and pull through 2. Wrap again, come into that lower elongated spike stitch section, pull up and pull through 2. One more time, wrap the yarn, pull up and pull through 2. So from here, we are going to change our yarn color back to yellow as we pull this through. So grab the yellow colored yarn, pull through just like that, and in the next stitch space, normal regular stitch space, you're making a single crochet stitch and have the red yarn tail on top of the yarn as you do that. And here we've got to finish this single crochet stitch, changing our yarn color back to red, just like that. So you're gonna go yellow, spike bubble stitch, red, yellow again. For the next 5 single crochet stitches, it's all in red. 1, 2, keep that hook vertical. 3, 4, here's the 5th, and we change our yarn color to yellow, pulling it across as well, just like that. Come into the next stitch space, have the red yarn tail on top of the yarn. Change your yarn color back to red at the end of this stitch. Pull your yellow yarn tail as well. We've got a spike bubble stitch right here. So wrap the yarn. Don't come here, but come here. Come in, have the yellow yarn tail on top of the hook. Pull up, pull through 2. And repeat another 2 times. Pull up, pull through 2. Wrap the yarn, same stitch space, pull up and pull through 2. Grab your yellow colored yarn as we have been doing. As you can see, there's lots of color changes here, but it's not too difficult. And single crochet stitch with your yellow colored yarn, but changing at the end of this to red. And then with your remaining 4 single crochet stitches, you'll complete those in red, but have the yellow yarn tail over the hook for at least the first 1 or 2. There's 2, complete 3, and number 4 here with a slip stitch and chain 1, and that is the end of that round. So we are looking like this. Round number 11 is all in red, thank goodness. So we'll start off with a single crochet stitch, but then next we're going to work something called an invisible decrease. So you'll have the hook come in the front loop of the first stitch space, followed by the hook coming in the front loop of the next stitch space as well. So you've got front loop, 2 front loops right there. Pull the yarn through those 2 front loops and then pull the yarn through the 2 loops on the hook. And you've just made these 2 stitches into now 1, which is that invisible decrease. And you're going to repeat this a total of 6 times. So single crochet stitch first, followed by invisible decrease. One more time, single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. And now I want you to complete this another 3 times to finish off round number 11. For round number 12, we do need to pay attention here because we do have some yarn color changes plus increases as well. So we're going to start off with a single crochet stitch in red, followed by an increase. 1, same stitch space, make another single crochet stitch. So we've got our increase right there. Let's repeat that again. So single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, 1, and here's the second one. And now we're going to change our yarn color at the end of this increase to yellow. So grab your yellow colored yarn, give yourself some slack as well, you can weave it in later, pull up. Okay, next stitch space is yellow single crochet stitch, followed by an increase, 1 and 2, followed by a single crochet stitch, and it's here that we change our yarn color to red. So grab your red colored yarn, pull through just like that, and in the next stitch space you're working an increase, 1, 2, and we'll finish the rest of the stitches in red but working single crochet stitch first and then increase, and one more time single crochet stitch first followed by an increase, 1 and 2, just like that. And we'll make a slip stitch and chain 1. Now we are going to have some color changes in almost every round from here except towards the end, so just be wary of that. This next round is also an increase round, and it's round number 13, and we're going to start off with 2 single crochet stitches in red, followed by an increase, and you do want these stitches to be as straight as possible, just like that. Okay, let's do the following now. So we've got 2 single crochet stitches again, 1, 2, oops, make sure you get all of the yarn, 1, here's the second single crochet stitch. Now we have an increase here, and with this increase we will do the following. You're going to start it off with a red yarn color, then change your yarn color to yellow, just like that. And then the second single crochet stitch, because remember we have an increase in here, we are going to have that in yellow. So it's an interesting increase because one stitch is in red, the other is in yellow. Okay, so from here you're going to, in your yellow colored yarn, make 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, and then in the next stitch space you'll make an increase. So remember that's 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch space, just like that. Okay, from here we have a single crochet stitch to go in yellow. So there's our first single crochet stitch. We'll make another one. Here's the second. And then over here, what we'll do is we have an increase right here. And we'll do the first in yellow, and then we're going to change our yarn color to red and give yourselves enough slack space with that yarn, just like that. And then in that same stitch space, remember this is an increase, we'll work the second one in our red colored yarn. there we go. So that's an increase again right there. So we're looking like this so far, and then for the remaining stitches we will do the following. We have 1, 2 single crochet stitches followed by an increase, 1 and 2, and then finishing that off with again 2 single crochet stitches plus an increase, 1 and 2, and there we go. So that's the end of that round right there. Alright, so for the next 2 rounds we are doing the following. Start off with 7 single crochet stitches in red, 2, 3, 4, and don't forget, keep those stitches as straight as possible by keeping your hook vertical. So that's 5, 6, and here's the 7th one. Change your yarn color back to yellow and give yourselves again some slack as you do that, because you can weave it in a little bit later, and actually it's better to do that as well. So pull that up, and then for the next 1, 2, 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochet stitches, you will complete these in yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so here's number 5, 6, 7, and here's the 8th where we change our yarn color back to red. Grab your red colored yarn, leave a little bit of yarn slack, weave it in later, change your yarn color right here, and then here we go, we've got another 9 single crochet stitches in red. And we're just going to repeat that for the next round as well. So let's come back together at the end of the next round. Okay, we've just completed those 2 rounds there, and we're going to start the next round. So we've got 7 single crochet stitches as we are used to in red colored yarn. Here's number 4, 5, 6, and 7. Change your yarn color to yellow. And I do leave myself with a lot of yarn slack, and I'll just weave it in as I come here. Okay, so for the next 3 single crochet stitches, this will be in yellow. 1, 2, and here's the 3rd. Grab your red colored yarn, pull through. For the next 2 stitches, single crochet stitches, they will be in red, followed by change yarn color back to yellow. Just like that. For the next 3 single crochet stitches, these will be in yellow, 2, here's the 3rd, change your yarn color back to red, and then complete your 9 single crochet stitches in red. And that will be the end of this round. This next round is fairly similar, but a couple of changes. So start off again with your 7 single crochet stitches in red, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Change your yarn color to yellow, just like that. Then for the next 2 single crochet stitches, these will be in yellow. We'll change our yarn color to red after or at the completion of the 2nd. And then for the next 4 single crochet stitches, these will all be in red. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, changing yarn color to yellow. And then for the remaining 2 single crochet stitches, we'll have those in yellow. Change your yarn color back to red. And the remaining 9 single crochet stitches will then also be in red. So that's the end of this round as well. This next round, this is round number 18 here, and these will just be a simple round which you will love. It's all in red, and you're just completing single crochet stitches in every stitch space, of which there are 24 in total, so just 24 single crochet stitches for this round, and we'll come back at the end of this round. From here, actually, it's all going to just be in red colored yarn, so you can grab your pair of cutters and chop off your yellow yarn tail. That way, that doesn't need to be caught up anymore. Okay, so from here, this is a decrease round. You're going to start off with 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, followed by an invisible decrease. And remember that invisible decrease was just front loop, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through those 2 loops on the hook. Let's do it again. So single crochet stitch first, another single crochet stitch, followed by invisible decrease, front loop again, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through. I want you to repeat that another 4 times to finish off this round. Now from here, we do have 2 rounds to go. If you want to add your fiber filling already, feel free to do that. I'm going to complete 1 more round before I add my fiber filling. So this is what I'm going to do. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. And I'm going to repeat that a total of 6 times. So here's my second time. Single crochet stitch first, followed by invisible decrease. I will repeat this 4 more times. I will only have, I do believe it will be 12 stitches at the end of this round. I'll pull the yarn up as if I were to chain 1, and I'm just pulling it out a little bit more so I've got some more slack or space so it doesn't unravel as I'm adding my fiber filling. And now I'm going to add fiber filling, and we'll just do that small layers at a time. So I'm going to add a little bit of fiber filling, and then I'll use a pair of cutters to push this in and condense it as best as possible. And then I will just basically repeat that process all the way until I have enough fiber filling to reach the top. So you want to have this pushed nice and firmly so that you're creating less space with that fiber filling. So guys, continue that, and then we'll come back to complete that last round together. Okay, so we just filled that up with fiber filling. This is nicely compact inside. And now for the last round, you're just going to complete invisible decreases all the way around. So here's the first invisible decrease, another invisible decrease. Now, if you crochet in a spiral, only complete 5 invisible decrease. So this is my third. Coming up is the 4th. Now, if you completed your rounds in a spiral, this will be your last invisible decrease, number 5. And in this next stitch space, you will just create a slip stitch to finish that off and level it all out. But for the rest of us who completed our rounds with a slip stitch and chain 1, we will make 6 invisible decreases. And then we'll come into that very first stitch space, make a slip stitch, pull the yarn through, and we'll cut the yarn such that we have maybe about a 15 centimeter yarn tail at the end there. So 15 centimeter yarn tail is what I have, as you can see here. And we've just completed the body, but now we need to close the top portion. Alright, so let us close this off. So I've got my yarn, leather, or sewing needle here. I've woven my yarn through the eye of the needle. And then I'm coming to each of these stitch spaces in my last round, and I'm just coming through the front loop only. So just the front loop only, just like that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there should be 6 or 7 if you crochet in a spiral. Okay, and then from here you're going to pull in a clockwise manner. Pull that nice and tight. Push any bumps or things like that into the center to hide it. Have your yarn needle come through the center now and come out where there is red colored yarn. And pull to close it even more. Push any bumps into the center to hide and keep this nice and flat as best as you can. Alright, so that's that. And now we just need to weave these. So can you see these stitches here? And we've got this diagonal. It actually forms an X. There's a diagonal underneath this one that comes across from my right to the left corner. And so we're just going to follow that lining. So we'll have the needle come right here, come out where there's always red colored yarn, and just pull so it seamlessly falls on top of that stitch. Okay, and we're just going to do that again. We'll probably repeat this process a good 4 or 5 times. So that's my second right there. Coming up is my third. Here's number 4, and probably over here I can maybe just fit in 1 more. There we go. Okay, so that's woven in, nicely done. And then we'll chop the yarn, any excess that we have, and we'll push in the yarn tail to hide that completely. And that is the end. There is the body all nice and finished right there. So at this point, I'm going to use some white colored yarn. I'm going to chop myself about a 40/50 centimeter piece. And then I will have my needle here. I'm just going to thread this through the needle. And we're going to sew or embroider these eyes, as you can see here. Hopefully I can get that in the light for you. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So we need to see where this is going. So we've got our white colored yarn. We're just going to enter at the back of the head over here. It doesn't matter where, because we're going to use the opposite side to create the kind of the knot and just secure that in place. But you want to count up one. So see where this yellow is? Here's one round of yellow, two round of yellow, and between the third and the fourth, working or counting from the bottom to the top, that's where we want to enter the needle, and then one stitch space. So here's the first or the outer edge of that stitch space, and we'll come right here. So I hope that makes sense. So 1, 2 between rounds 3 and 4, and one of those yellow stitch spaces to my left as I'm looking at Iron Man. Okay, so we're going to weave this through. Leave a bit of yarn of a yarn tail here, as you can see, and then we're going to come across 2 stitch spaces. So here's the first, here's the second, and then we're just going to weave in and out of these 2 stitch spaces. So there's 1. And you can do this either twice or 3 times, depending on the desired thickness that you would like. So there's 2, and that's probably enough, but I might just do 1 more, just for good luck, as they say. Okay, so I'm coming here, and then I will go across another couple of stitch spaces. Pull this through. And then in the same way, across 2 stitch spaces, this is where I'm going to weave in and out. I've got 1 stitch space spare at the back here. So let us weave in and out of these 2 stitch spaces 3 times as well, because we want to keep these eyes like a mirror image of each other, the same thickness. So 3 times is what we have decided. Alright, so I'm coming back here where I entered my needle into at the very beginning, and there are my 2 Iron Man eyes, as you can see here. Now I'm going to leave this for now just because I need to make a little bit of a triangle across the chest. Alright, and now we're going to use some black colored yarn, although this here is 1 ply. So remember, we started off with 4 ply. If you have 4 ply cotton yarn, you may need to get a little bit creative if you're using any other type of yarn. And see how this is made of 4 different strands? We'll just take 1 strand and pull that apart. And that's what I did to get this. And I've cut myself about 30-40 centimeters again as well. Now what we're going to do is just enter somewhere different this time. It doesn't have to be the same spot as this white. And then I will begin at the edge of that eye again. So I'm going to come here, pull until I have a little bit of a yarn tail left, and then I'm going to come at the top of the eye and finish at this other edge as well. So I'm going to finish right here. I hope you can see that. And then I'm going to go up 2 stitch spaces and at the edge of the red. So I'm coming right here. So vertically up 2 stitch spaces, and at the edge between the intersection of the red and the yellow is where I'm going to go. Make sure this black lining is also going to fit above the white of the eye. So you may just need to redirect it a little bit here. Whoopsie. Don't know what I've done over here. I might have to come out first. There we go. Okay, so you can see that that is what it's looking like so far. Across the eyes. And then, since we've come here, we're going to come back to this edge portion over here, and we're going to do the exact same for the other side. Come at the corner of the eye, pull this through. There's 1. And let's do the same, so up twice and then at that intersection as well. And then we're going to come at the base intersection again. So see this first yellow row over here? We're coming between the first and the second, and at the edge there, at the left or the right hand side. It doesn't matter which one that you choose to come into first. So there we go, there's that part. And then this is going to come all the way until the other intersection between the red and the yellow. And that almost finishes the edging or the lining of our Iron Man. I'm going to come up here now. So can you see these two stitches in red, kind of the middle stitches out of these four? 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're finding the first two. And then at the top there, I'm going to come out just there. So that's what I want you to do as well, because we're going to start forming, well, let's see what we start forming. We'll probably just do like a rectangle or something here. So I'm going to come out, and between these two stitches here, we'll just form a rectangle, or at least we'll try. So there's that. Come to this edge, and then we'll come up here, come down, and one more over to this other side to finish this off. And there we go. And then I will just have this yarn tail emerge in the same stitch space as my first yarn tail in black. Okay, so we are doing that now. Pulling through. There we go. There's the top of the head. Looks great. And then with these two, you're just going to tie them. I'm going to chop it just a little bit. And then I'm going to tie these two in a double or a triple knot. And you can pull a little bit tighter on that double / triple knot too. So that's the second one. And I'm going to do it this 3 times just because I can. It's one ply. I can even do it 4 times just to keep it really secure and in place so that knot is not going anywhere. Use my scissors, cut above the knot, or you can choose to weave this in straight away. And then I'm just going to hide the knot inside the head. Alright, so there is my head of Iron Man, and we just need this white portion here on the chest to finish off. Okay, so I have this white colored yarn, and by the way, this can be done in a cyan colored yarn as well, so feel free to change that up depending on what you'd like to do. I'm going to kind of find the center. See these 2 red rounds? Just plain red rounds. I'm going to find the top of that and the middle of the body as best as I can. So I'm going to come right here. Or actually, I'll probably just come right in that stitch space. Just like that. And for this section as well, you can either do this like me, or you can create a triangle, an upside down triangle too. So I know there's different shapes that I've seen on Iron Man's body. So you can do either one, triangle, upside down triangle, or exactly like me, I'm just going to do the line, but it will be made out into a circle toward the end. Okay, so I'm going to find 2 stitch spaces down here, and then I'll just kind of weave back and forth between these 2 stitch spaces until I get more of a circle-ish forming. So I'm going to keep weaving just like that. Maybe do like 3 to 6 of these. Of just the weaving is what I mean. Come around here, come back at the top. Actually, I might just do, this might be my second last, and then I might do my last one over here. It's not quite a circle, but still, same idea. And you can change this up however you like as well. And we'll push this one to the side. Okay, so there we go. That I think is just going to end it there for me. So then with these 2 yarn tails, again, in the same way that you've seen before with the black, you're going to tie this in a double knot and give it a little bit more of a tug or a pull when you're completing that second knot of your double knot. Then cut your excess yarn at the top of that, and then grab your yarn needle and push it in just like that to hide it away, because that is the ultimate strategy. Okay, so we are officially finished our Iron Man. Looking fantastic. Sorry about the sunlight, but I'm sure you guys are able to see this a little bit clearer. And you can add a yarn chain at the very top of this by just making a slip stitch in red or black, chaining 50, and then slip stitching again here, or just add your very own keychain, however you'd like to do that. We've made 2 here in total. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Very simple technique. Make sure if you're crocheting in a spiral, you're just adjusting so you can get the look just right. And make sure you keep those stitches straight as well, and tell someone else to keep those stitches straight. I've got videos so you you can check those out as well to help with those techniques. And guys, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!